The purpose of cultural awareness training is to focus on principles that hold promise for moving Delaware's security professionals to a higher level of understanding, acceptance, and appreciation of our diversity. Because Delaware has an ever-changing population, training and understanding is essential to assist Delaware security professionals in developing a capacity for identifying and responding to its changing communities. The latest Census Bureau data indicates the following. Between 2010 and 2021, the share of the state's population that is Hispanic Latino increased 1.9 percentage points to 10.1% overall. Between 2010 and 2021, the share of the population that is Black or African American increased 1.7 percentage points to 23.6%. The Asian non-Hispanic population also increased slightly. During this same time period, the white non-Hispanic population had the largest decrease, dropping 4.8 percentage points to 60.6% of the population overall. The concept of diversity encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that each individual is unique and recognizing our individual differences. These can be along the dimensions of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, age, physical abilities, religious beliefs, political beliefs, or other ideologies. Diversity allows for an exploration of differences in a safe, positive, and nurturing environment. Diversity is about understanding each other and moving beyond simple tolerance to embracing and celebrating the rich dimensions contained within each individual. In live, in-person classes, during the cultural diversity section, we would play a game with the students called Connect the Dots. The directions for Connect the Dots were simple. Students were asked to connect all of the dots with 4 straight lines without lifting their pencil off the paper or not retracing any lines. Lines may cross if it was necessary. Students were given 5 minutes to complete the exercise. During the classroom version, most of the students were unable to perform this task within 5 minutes, as they were limited in the type of answers they responded with. The one aspect most of the students forgot, as you can see from the correct answer that's outlined on your screen over here, is that they were not given any direction that they could not go outside of the box in order to draw their lines, thus limiting their perspective. The goal of this exercise was to demonstrate that we often limit our perspective and choices, and particularly in the realm of considering cultural diversity differences amongst each other. Students had to draw outside of the lines, which is what they mainly did not understand. And this is what is required of all of us when we interact with other people, to think outside of the lines. Understanding cultural diversity often comes down to the idea of understanding other people's points of view. As exemplified by this exercise, we often are very busy thinking about our own points of view, and in turn we fail to see other people's points of view. In addition, we tend to judge others' ideas rather than try to understand them. So why is it important for us to embrace diversity? Well, for starters, diversity is all about understanding, valuing, and using the differences in every person. Diversity empowers people. It makes an organization or a team effective by capitalizing on the strengths of everyone. There are several obstacles to diversity, so it's important that we recognize what might be holding us back. For example, bias is an inclination towards a certain belief, often interfering with an objective judgment. Distinguishing differences or treating someone as inferior based on their race, sex, national origin, personality, education, background, and other characteristics are forms of discrimination. Prejudice is an opinion formed based on biases without complete information. It also refers to an irrational hatred of a specific group, often related to ethnic or religious reasons. A conventional, usually oversimplified opinion applied to a particular group is what we know as a stereotype. Racism is a belief or doctrine usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. And a prejudice against another based on their gender is known as sexism. So now let's examine some government efforts to promote diversity. Equal Employment Opportunity, or EEO, was introduced as part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This effort attempted to ensure positions in the workplace for protected classes, which included groups like women, veterans, African Americans, and also people with disabilities. Because this program was not entirely effective, President Lyndon Johnson introduced the Affirmative Action Mandate in 1965. Other efforts by the government to promote diversity included the Civil Rights Act of 1991, passed in response to the U.S. Supreme Court decisions that limited the rights of employees who had sued their employers for discrimination. The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, was signed by President George H.W. Bush and became law in 1990. It prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. But simply enforcing government regulations will not get us to the best. To obtain that competitive edge, we need to grow our workforce from groups into teams that use the full potential of every individual. Teams are much more than a group. A group is a collection of individuals where each person is working towards his or her own goal, while a team is a collection of individuals working towards a common goal or vision. Being security guards normally operate in a team working environment, we will concentrate on this concept. Workplace diversity refers to a variety of differences between people in an organization. Now that sounds simple, but diversity encompasses many things. The long list includes race, gender, ethnic groups, age, personality, cognitive style, tenure, organizational function, education, background, and many more. Diversity not only involves how people perceive themselves, but how they perceive others. These perceptions affect everyone's interactions. For a wide assortment of employees to function effectively as an organization, human resource professionals and the employees themselves need to deal effectively with issues such as communication, adaptability, and change. And now for the benefits of promoting diversity in the workplace. Organizations employing a diverse workforce can supply a greater variety of solutions to problems in service, sourcing, and in the allocation of resources. Employees from diverse backgrounds bring individual talents and experiences in suggesting ideas that are flexible and adapting to fluctuating markets and customer and client demands. And now to our overall objective of achieving diversity. One method for achieving workplace diversity, or diversity in general, is the idea of being culturally competent. Cultural competence encourages everyone to respect, communicate, understand, and engage with each other. Cultural competence is also the ability to respond effectively and appropriately to different cultural and generational contexts in the workplace. Every employee needs to understand and accept that there are differences among their counterparts. And when necessary, they need to seek and understand and perhaps ask for clarification for reasons of behavior. Management personnel must be clear and communicate policies and procedures to all their employees. So the cultural competency checklist, if you will, starts off with the idea of respect for other people's opinions, and also the understanding that even if you disagree with somebody, you still respect the idea that they have a differing opinion. Self-examination is also very important, acknowledging cultural and generational differences and even historical injustices without becoming defensive about things. Closing our minds about other persons in general limits us. We need to concentrate on being open to learning about other cultures and ideas. Try to start from the perspective of giving other persons the benefit of the doubt, even in a dispute. Before we jump to conclusions and try to make other people understand what we're trying to say, let's take a time out and first seek to understand what their point of view might be before we apply our understanding of the issue. Stereotyping, again, will limit us from exploring and understanding other persons. So as we conclude this section, one final cultural competency checkpoint. Judging others from your own cultural standards will fail to give you a perspective necessary to understand cultural diversity and why it is essential in our workplace.